Well, I'll see you out there, girl. Bye-bye.
You don't forget to write to me, eh?
I won't. Thanks. I just...
Warren. Delaney.
Oh, Mulaney Delaney.
Oh, yeah.
See you later.
Good luck, love.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh dear, I think perhaps we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Fine by me.
Oh, good. I wanted to thank you, Mrs. Reynolds, especially for sticking up for me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, I'm glad everything worked out well for you, Jeff. Goodbye and good luck with your exams.
Good, thanks.
Mr. Cruikshank, if you're free, could you come and help me get my office back into shape?
Yes, of course. Well, bye, Jeff. Hope all goes well for you.
Thanks, mate.
Where do I come into it anyway? You're going to be bashed, Kelly. You know, I owe you that, don't I? But it's going to look like the freak did it. So it'll have to be good. All right, everyone, now look shocked.
What's wrong? What's happened to Kelly?
You should know, Ferguson, you nearly bashed the life out of them.
No. They're coming.
Done it this time, Ferguson.
Miss Ferguson bashed her.
Don't know.
There's no way she's going to wriggle out of this one.
It's perfect. Even the freak believes she bashed Lou.
Come on, you two, get on with some work.
Reckon Lou won't even care about the thumping Myra gave her now the freak's played her last hand?
When you concentrate on what you're doing, the way you're going, you'll put us all in.
Oh, I wouldn't do that, Myra.
Oh, no? What if a screw had just overheard what you said?
Sorry. Reckon I got a bit carried away, eh?
Carried away, nothing. It's not every day we get rid of the freak.
Oh, we haven't got rid of her yet. You two, keep it. Now, just listen. There are going to be a lot of questions asked before the freak gets her marching orders. And we've got to make sure we come up with the right answers. Any slip-up, any variation in our story, and we have had it. And you know what that means.
Yeah, we're being more poo than a Werribee duck.
Exactly. Now, Reno is no fool, and neither is the freak. Just remember, she's fighting for her job.
Do I take it you're denying the allegation? Miss Ferguson? I'm sorry. I asked you a question. Are you denying it?
No, I'm just trying to think.
There's no thinking required. Did you or did you not attack Lou Kelly? All right, then. You told Meg you were confused. What did you mean? Did you break up a fight? Perhaps someone else hit her?
I don't know. I can't remember what happened.
In that case, you leave me no choice but to suspend you from duty pending a full inquiry. You realize the consequences if it goes against you?
Yes. Sorry.
Dennis, perhaps you'd take her to the staff room, would you?
Yes, sure.
And make sure she has no contact with any of the prisoners. It's for your own protection. Any word on Kelly yet?
She's with Sister Hall. She'll be all right.
Well, let me know when she's finished. I want to speak to her.
Right.
Meg, what do you think about all this?
Well, the department wanted to get rid of her. Looks like they've got their chance.
Perhaps.
She was caught red-handed. What more evidence do you need?
Yes, but why would she attack Kelly in front of all those witnesses and then not even deny it?
Well, she's been under a lot of strain.
You think she totally lost control, just snapped?
It's possible. It could happen to anyone.
Yes, well, this time it happened to Joan Ferguson, and the women will be after blood. We're going to have to play this one strictly by the book.
Ferguson? Just going to make myself a cup of coffee. You've been with Kelly, haven't you?
Oh, she's going to be all right. She's talking with Mrs. Reynolds now.
It's not knowing. That's the hardest part.
Sorry?
I'd cope if I knew what happened.
You say you don't remember?
I remember walking into the laundry. The floor was dirty. And I told Patterson to clean it up. And then...
Then what?
Kelly was on the floor. Did she say anything?
provoke you in any way?
I'm sure she was there. But she didn't say anything or draw attention to herself.
But she must have. Otherwise, what could have happened?
Getting these headaches. Blinding headaches.
Can I get you something for it?
No, thank you.
Kelly can be vicious. I remember when she escaped, I thought she was going to kill me.
At least you can remember what happened.
Let me make you a nice cup of tea.
Oh, I wish I knew what was bloody happening.
It's one thing you never get used to in here is the waiting. You wait for everything. Your food, you buy up. You wait to get locked in your cell at night. You wait to get let out in the morning. Wait for visitors and letters. Situation like this, everyone gets nervous. Oh, you think everything's going well and then start worrying again. Only takes one person to get their story wrong.
Oh, come off it, Myra. It'll be all right. I know you're missing Judy and Jeff, but hell.
Yeah, at least I could rely on them to stay calm.
Can I have your attention, please? You're all aware of the unpleasant incident this afternoon involving Lou Kelly and Miss Ferguson.
Unpleasant's right.
Quiet, everyone! Mr. Fry's on his way here now, and there'll be an immediate investigation. I think you'll agree the sooner this is sorted out, the better. Now, the people who witnessed it will be called to answer questions. I'm sure I can rely on you all to cooperate. That's all, thank you.
Hey, Mrs. Reynolds, does this mean that Miss Ferguson's going to get the sack?
If the allegation's proved.
Foregone conclusion, isn't it?
That's for the inquiry to decide.
We all saw it.
Everyone apparently except Lou Kelly. I've spoken to her and she says she can't remember who hit her.
She what?
I'm sure it'll be resolved fairly. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What the hell does that bitch think she's playing at?
Oh, protecting her own back by the sound of it. Well, if the freak gets the sack, Kelly is safe. If the freak gets off this charge, it won't be Kelly that she'll be gunning for. It'll be me.
Oh. See you in the morning, Meg.
Are you just leaving? I thought you were rostered off over an hour ago.
Oh, no rush to get home.
Norm going out tonight, is he?
No. In fact, if you like, I'll give you a hand with the inquiry.
Oh, thanks, Joyce, but we'll be fine. Yeah, though it's going to take some time with Joan being so uncooperative.
Yes, I was talking to her earlier on. She was saying she hasn't been feeling well lately. I don't know whether to believe her or not, but she says she's been having headaches, that sort of thing. She says she has no recollection about the attack on Kelly.
Well, she's mistaken if she thinks that Fry's going to accept that as an excuse. I think she knows she's in a lot of hot water.
Yes, I really feel she's playing for time, but she did look quite ill. I feel quite sorry for her. Seems such a lonely woman.
Joyce, are you all right? I mean, you've been very quiet today.
Actually, I had a silly argument with Norm before I left this morning.
I am sorry.
Oh, it was nothing, really. In fact, I'd better get going before I make myself angry just thinking about it.
Well, if there's anything I can do, just let me know.
I just don't want to have to face him yet. In fact, I don't think I will. Here, give me some of those files. Let me help
Well,
you.
you know you don't have to.
No, I don't mind. You'll need an extra pair of hands anyway.
Very well, if you insist.
Oh, about bloody time. Girl could die of hunger up here.
We've been real worried about you.
No talking, come on.
Hope you enjoy your dinner.
Miss Ferguson. Miss Ferguson. Miss Ferguson.
What?
I'm sorry. Will that be all?
Yes, that'll be all. Open and shut case, if you ask me. She didn't even raise a finger to defend herself.
I'll reserve judgment till we've heard from the prisoners.
All right. Have to go through the motions, I suppose.
Desmond and Kelly are outside. Who do you want to see first?
Let's have them both together.
But they'll just back each other up.
Well, unless we speed things up, we'll be here all night. Both of them, Mr. Cookshank.
Desmond, Kelly.
There's no Mr. Fry.
Yes.
Okay, Kelly. Suppose you tell us exactly what happened this afternoon.
I'm sorry, Joan, but you're supposed to stay in the staff room. The governor doesn't want you to talk to anyone.
So then the freak comes in, starts laying into Lou.
Yeah, but what happens before that?
She told Lou to do the floors.
What? She told me to do the floors. Lou told Ferguson to do them herself, and then it was on. Have you got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, bloody well try and remember it, will you? How was it? What happened?
Kelly came good.
Where is she?
She's in a cell getting some facts.
What'd they ask you?
Just stick to our story and we'll be fine. Fry wants to believe us.
Well, I wish they'd call me. I wish it was over and done with.
You'll be fine.
Come on, hurry up. What the hell? Drop the bloody thing.
What in the name of
Heaven is it Mr. Cruikshank, what is that?
What does it look like?
I mean, I could make a couple of suggestions, but I don't want to be put on a charge.
I love it.
It's called freedom.
I can see why. It makes you want to escape to get away from it.
But why is it here?
Well, I thought you'd appreciate a gift from an old friend. Etty sent it.
Might have known.
Reckon it's growing on me.
Well, you can admire it later. Right now, you want it in the governor's office.
And I'll go down as the one who got rid of the freak. I mean, it was Myra's idea, but I was the one who bled for it.
How can you take such pleasure in destroying Miss Ferguson?
Hey? I thought you were on our side.
I didn't know it came down to taking sides.
Oh, you better bloody learn. It's all right for you. You get out in a couple of weeks. But if I hadn't have done something about the freak, she would have done something about me.
There are other ways.
Not where that bitch is concerned. You've got no idea what you got to do in a hole like this just to survive. Well, you can keep your lovely ideas. And your stinking religion. The sooner you go back to where you came from, the better I'll like it.
Well, we were in the laundry. Everyone was working and we weren't making any noise at all. When she came in and started stirring up trouble.
Miss Ferguson?
Yeah. She said the floors were dirty and told me to clean them up. Lou answered her back and Miss Ferguson just started laying into her.
All right, before that. Just as Miss Ferguson came into the room, did she say anything?
Oh, she might have. I can't remember.
Well, did she use the word scum?
Oh, yeah, that's right. She said the place smelt much better now that some of the scum had gone. Like you're on the ball, Mr. Fry. I nearly forgot that bit.
Yes, well, I think we've heard enough.
Just a couple more questions. After the assault started, what did you do?
I ran to get help.
On your own initiative, or did someone tell you to?
Mrs. Reynolds, I think it's been well established that Myra sent her.
I was told by Myra.
I'd say she saw quite enough to see what was going on. Thank you, Patterson. You're excused now.
Oh, is that all? Gee, thanks, Mr. Fry.
I really don't think there's any need to interview everyone that was in the laundry this afternoon.
At least speak to Anita Selby. She could have quite a different story.
Well, there's no need. I've already reached a decision. Send for Miss Ferguson, please. And so I have no option but to conclude that the evidence points overwhelmingly to your guilt.
Mr. Fry, I should have mentioned this earlier, but... Look, some very strange things have been happening lately.
It's rather an understatement, isn't it?
No, I simply haven't been well. I've found myself in places and not known how I've got there. Like memory lapses. Now, that must have happened this afternoon because I can't remember what happened.
Very convenient for you.
No, wait a minute. There may be something in it. Miss Ferguson was bashed recently. I sent you a report, if you remember.
Of course I do. I also remember that the doctor gave her a clear bill of health. This is nothing more than a desperate last-minute attempt to save her skin.
No, that's not true.
Look, why don't we defer judgment pending a medical examination?
Well, why didn't you report this earlier?
I was afraid it might affect my career.
Yes, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, because I'm dismissing you. You have 15 minutes to clear out your things.
I was only trying to cover myself.
Oh, yeah, and letting us cop it, right?
Hey, Myra, what do you reckon? We could use it as a back scratcher.
I'm glad to see you found a use for it, Jenkins.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Cookshop?
Well, I've come to tell you all that the inquiry's over. I don't need to see anyone else, so you can all relax. And Mr. Fry asked me to thank you all for your cooperation.
Hey, aren't you going to tell us what happened? When's Miss Ferguson coming back?
Miss Ferguson is no longer employed by the department.
Jonah, heard what happened. I'm sorry.
Don't waste your breath. Not in the least bit sorry to see me go. No one is. It's a mistake.
And thumping a prisoner was hardly a mistake, Joe. You should know that.
I didn't.
I almost feel sorry for her.
You're kidding.
Well, you said yourself that inquest was a farce. I mean, Fry had his mind made up before he arrived.
Yes, but you're not suggesting she was innocent.
No, but if he can do that to her, he can do it to any one of us.
Norm? Could I talk to you for a minute? It's about what happened earlier. I'm really sorry for behaving like such an old dragon.
That's all right, love. We all have our off days.
It's just that we seem to be getting into such a rut. Every night it's the same old thing. Dinner, TV, even when we see our friends. Don't think we've entertained anyone new for about 5 years. Norm?
What?
Would you turn that thing off? I am trying to say something.
Sorry, Joyce. What was it?
Look, why don't we hop into town and see a film or something? There's still plenty of time if we hurry.
If you really want to, my love.
Does that mean you don't want to go?
I'll go if you want to go.
Well, I wouldn't want to push you into anything. If you don't want to go, just say so.
Well, we're both working tomorrow. I think half your problem is you're overtired.
Successful evening's work, wouldn't you say?
You got what you wanted. I'd be happier if we'd been more thorough.
You wanted to get rid of Ferguson, didn't you?
Yes, but not like
Yes,
this.
well, what are you complaining about? Everyone's happy. Now, how about we get out of here and I take you to dinner?
I'm sorry, but I've got a lot to do at home.
Well, as your superior officer, I could make it an order.
Please take your hand off me.
Come on, Anne.
Now, you listen to me. I have sat there and put up with your arrogant, prejudiced attitude all night. But if you think you can start pawing at me, you are very much mistaken. Touch me again, and I will not only have you up before the Public Service Board, I will also slap a writ on you for sexual harassment.
Myra, can I talk to you?
Makes a change. Been avoiding me lately.
I didn't want to be pressured. I hadn't made up my mind what I was going to say at the inquest.
Should be happy about that. Let you off the hook.
I was relieved at first. But now... I think what we did was wrong. I've got to know Miss Ferguson a little. I'm not sure she's as bad as you all make out.
Well, that just proves to me that you don't know her at all.
I don't understand how you can live with this on your conscience.
A conscience is a luxury when you're dealing with an animal like Ferguson.
She's not an animal.
And this isn't a zoo, it's a prison. We've got our own rules in here. It's about time you learn to live by them.
Make yourself comfortable, Mrs. Collins. We won't keep you waiting too long.
Is Dr. Leary here yet, nurse?
He'll be here in a few minutes, Miss Ferguson. But there are other patients ahead of you.
Yes, of course.
268.
Morning, sister. Who have we got? This Miss Ferguson. Are you here to see me?
Yes, Doctor. There's something wrong, and I don't know what.
I think we better take a look at you right away.
Excuse me. Doctor, there are 2 patients ahead of Miss Ferguson.
Thank you, sister. This one's urgent.
Start slicing the carrots when you finish the onions, Gina. There's a good girl.
Am I moving?
Oh, morning, Joyce. How are we on this fine day?
Actually, I feel about 110.
Why, you're not coming down with something, are you?
No. Almost wish I was. And I could understand why I feel so low.
Oh, things can't be that bad. Hubby's not giving you a bad time, is he?
Norm? No, Norm's just the same. Nothing ever changes with Norm.
Look, I don't want to interfere, but I'm a good listener if you ever need one.
You're not interfering, Mervyn. And thanks. It helps to know somebody cares. Oh, what have you got there?
Voilà! For my lady, c'est fresh croissant.
Oh, I always say croissants. Oh, Mervyn, they're lovely. What a terrific change. Oh.
Can't get over the place. It's like a bloody holiday camp since a freak got the bullet.
Yeah, I can think of better ways to spend me time.
Yeah, but you got to admit it is better. I mean, you can even walk around without worrying about Frank coming and broke all the time.
Yeah, well, I don't see no changes. There's always some freak around here ready to hang one on you.
I'm doing a lot of thinking. I need to talk to you.
What's on your mind?
Joan Ferguson.
Thought we'd get round to that sooner or later.
It's not right that she loses a job for something she didn't do.
What about all the time she should have lost her job and didn't?
She's innocent.
The freak has never been innocent.
What we've done is wrong.
She better not lag on me.
Oh, Kelly. All right, Anita, it might be wrong in your eyes. But you haven't had to suffer her like we have. She's had a go at all of us at one time or another. Now, if you're a mate, you'll go along with us.
You've been good to me, Myra, and I'm grateful. But I must clear my conscience.
If you go to the governor, you'll be dobbing in Kelly and me. How will your conscience feel then?
I won't mention any names.
Come on, you silly bitch. You won't have to mention any names. You might as well draw bloody pictures.
That's right. Reno knows exactly who's got it in for the freak. And have you given any thought to what'll happen if she comes back here?
I'm sorry, Myra. She's not guilty this time. I can't be part of this deceit.
You bitch! None or no none, you lag on me and I'll kill you.
I'm sorry. But I must act according to my conscience.
Sorry is no good. And I hope your conscience is as strong as you think it is. Because you're going to have to watch what happens when the freak walks through that door.
Well, she's tried to kill people for less.
Yeah, you can't do it.
And me. All of us. Lurch, Roz, keep knit. Oh, don't worry. You're the one that's safe. I'll take them. I said, take them!
Myra, please.
Now you lag on us and our blood is on your hands.
Don't.
Well, you're going to stick first at me as well. Kelly, why wait till the freak comes back?
Myra, please.
What about Lexi? The freak's had a go at her and there'll be more to come. The freak never forgives and she never forgets. Why don't you show a bit of charity? Go on. Finish her off now. She's scum to the freak. She may as well be dead.
Yeah, she'll have us all.
And all because you've got your conscience to cope with. Screw.
Everything all right, ladies?
I want to talk to the governor. It's urgent.
Better come along with me then.
Dr. McIntyre to reception, please, Dr. McIntyre.
Well, Doctor,
Well, you've located the problem.
is it serious?
Sit down and I'll explain.
Nurse Watson, required X-ray department.
That knock you received to the head has caused a chronic subdural hematoma. Now, that's not as bad as it sounds. What it means is that you have a small blood clot causing bleeding into the brain.
Can it be fixed?
It's a delicate operation, but we can minimize the risks with immediate surgery.
Brain surgery?
Yes, now, it's not as horrendous as it sounds, though.
Would the owner of the car...
And what if I don't have the operation?
You'll undergo progressive deterioration, more headaches, possibly paralysis, and even death.
And, if I have this operation, is it likely to be successful?
Yes, it's a well-practiced technique.
Is it dangerous?
There's an element of risk in all surgery, Miss Ferguson, but without it...
Don't have any choice, do I? When do you want to operate?
Right away. The sooner we get to it, the better. Is there any reason why you can't be admitted immediately?
No.
Good. Now, when did you last eat?
Oh, I haven't had anything today, just a cup of tea.
Fine, then we don't have to wait before we anaesthetize you. Do you smoke?
Yes, why?
It's just that smokers sometimes have problems under general anaesthetic. It's handy to know in advance.
Oh.
Now, if you'd like to head off down to the general admissions desk, I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Thank you.
Yes, sister, what is it?
I think it's time you heard the truth, Mrs. Reynolds.
The truth about what?
Miss Ferguson. She didn't bash Lou Kelly.
What do you mean?
The women framed her so they could get rid of her.
Have you known about this all the time?
Yes,
And yet you allowed matters to go this far.
The women told me to stay out of it. I knew what was happening, but I wasn't sure what to do.
I shouldn't have thought that to present a problem to someone with your sense of justice and fair play.
I'm sorry. I could see the women's side, too. I had to wrestle with my conscience.
Well, now that you've come to terms with it, you'd better tell me everything.
It was a setup. Miss Ferguson's been having some kind of blackouts, and the women used that against her. I can't give you any names.
You don't have to. It's obvious who's involved. Take Selby to isolation, please, and make sure she sees no other prisoners on the way.
Right. Oh, please, Mrs. Reynolds, no. I can't have the women thinking I don't have the courage to face them.
Courage? I'd call that stupidity. I don't want to have to wrestle with my conscience over your murder. Thank you very much. Mrs. Barry.
Come along. Come along.
Yes, call the department, please. I want to speak to Mr. Fry urgently. Selby will have to stay in isolation for her own protection.
Did she say who was behind it?
No, but it's obvious Desmond and Kelly arranged it between them.
Desmond's never had any time for Kelly.
Nothing like a common enemy for uniting opposing forces.
We should have realised. They've tried to set Joan up before.
Perhaps she was covering up for someone else.
No, Meg, it was a frame-up and Myra was responsible.
Poor Joan. I've never liked her, but I wouldn't wish this on her.
I wonder if we weren't all a bit too ready to believe she'd done it.
The trouble is we wanted to believe it. Oh, and I think how much I trusted Myra.
Well, we all did, Mrs. Reynolds. Do you want me to bring her to you?
Much as I'd love to throw her into solitary right now, I'll wait till I've discussed it with Fry. He'll be here at any minute.
And not in the best of moods, I suspect.
Ready to point out how easily the women made fools of us all.
But he believed them too, remember?
Indeed he did, and like us, he's going to have to face the fact we've all done Joan an injustice.
You're down for immediate surgery. Are you in pain?
No.
Would you rather sit down while we finish this?
Let's just get on with it, shall we?
Certainly, Miss Ferguson. Do you have your Medicare card with you?
Nurse Simpson to emergency. emergency ward. Nurse Simpson, at once, please. Emergency ward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next of kin?
None.
Well, we need a relative or a friend's name, just in case.
There isn't anyone.
Brown.
There must be someone you want to
There's no one.
Doctor's right.
Well, I think that's all. Oh, I need to know your occupation.
I'm a prison officer. I'm unemployed.
Right then. But if you'd like to take a seat, someone will be along to take you to a ward shortly.
Dr. Ian Jones to pathology, please. Dr. Ian Jones.
She must have spilt the lot or she'd be back by now. Bitch hasn't got the guts to face us.
She's got guts. That's our problem.
Oh, like hell. She'd do anything to make herself look good, including lagging.
Chances are they put her in isolation to keep some mad bugger like you from getting at her.
If I get my hands on her, she'll be meeting her maker a whole lot quicker than she expected. Mongrel bitch. Things are real crook when you can't trust a bloody nun.
Look, I just don't get it. I mean, she spends a whole life standing up for what's right, and then she goes and dobs on us.
Her problem is she sees everything in black and white, good versus evil.
But getting the freak wasn't evil. I mean, she's been asking for it for
I
years.
know. I'm just saying that Anita doesn't think like us.
She doesn't know just how bloody evil the freak will be when she gets her hands on me. You too? She'll kill the pair of us. I bloody know it.
We've survived before.
Just hope we send that bloody nun back in here, because she won't survive 2 minutes.
Well, whatever happens to her now, it's her own fault.
Yeah, the lagging bitch. I was right in the first place. I should have wasted that bitch when I had the chance.
And at no time did I see Miss Ferguson assault Kelly.
Is that it?
Yes.
And who are these mythical women that actually roughed up Kelly?
I'm sorry. No names.
That's because there aren't any, right?
What do you mean?
I mean that for some devious reason of your own, you decided to tell the governor a tissue of lies, calculated to get Ferguson reinstated.
You have no right to say that.
As head of the department, I have every right to stop a prisoner putting one over the governor. Did you hope to curry favour with the staff, or what?
I don't care what you're the head of, Mr. Fry. I'm telling the truth.
Thank you, Selby. That'll be all. Take her back to isolation, please, Mrs. Barry. Come along.
You can't really believe that's enough to clear Ferguson?
I most certainly do. I don't believe Selby would lie. And I'm certain she wouldn't risk the vengeance of the women unless she knew she was telling the truth.
Ah, rubbish. She's probably got some deal going with Ferguson.
Her story ties in with Joan's claims about having dizzy spells.
Ah, that's just clutching at straws.
Ferguson did receive a head injury recently. If she'd been acting strangely, the women would soon pick up on it and use it against her.
Well, what's wrong with just ignoring Selby's statement?
2 things. For one, I won't be party to a cover-up. And I can assure you, Selby won't let it drop if we don't act on it.
Now, what could she do on her own?
Plenty. How would you feel about it if Ferguson went to the union with Selby to back her up?
Well, we couldn't have that. I'd probably call another strike.
Exactly. And if the papers got hold of it, I'm sure they'd have...
None of this need ever have happened if you'd conducted a proper investigation.
It was you who decided we'd question enough witnesses.
Contact Ferguson immediately and tell her she's reinstated. You can manage that, can't you?
Yes. Sir.
When your visitors arrive, I'll take you through to the interview room. You don't have to see them, you know that, don't you? I'm afraid I must. Mother Mary Helen and Father Lennon are expecting some answers to some very difficult questions. Are you all right? I was wondering why I waited so long before telling Mrs. Reynolds the truth. Things would have been better if you'd told her straight away. But you've done the right thing now. I knew all along Miss Ferguson was innocent. But I also knew why the women were so desperate to get rid of her. I thought I was having a battle with my conscience.
Well, you've made the right decision. It must have been very difficult for someone like
No.
yourself.
I knew I'd tell the truth. But I waited. I didn't say anything.
Why not?
I was enjoying the power. The power to save Miss Ferguson. Mother Mary Helen's often accused me of a sense of pride and vanity. I think I'm beginning to understand why. Perhaps I love the idea of being true to God more than I love God himself. I genuinely care about the disarmament movement, but I pushed myself to the top where the world could see me. One reporter even called me Sister Supernun. I pretended humility, when really I loved it. The attention, the glory.
Aren't you being a bit hard on yourself?
Trouble is, I tend to be too hard on the people I really care about. Oh, I might have saved Miss Ferguson from the sack, but now everyone else is in a mess because I saw myself as God's most important little helper. Mrs. Morris, I need to talk to Myra. I must explain.
I'm sorry. For your own safety, you're never to be allowed near the women again.
Blood pressure?
130/90 and steady.
The brain is collapsed. I'll inflate now. Brain needle? Syringe?
I think you're going too fast. The blood pressure's rising.
Pulse dropping.
150/100. 170/110. 190/120. 200/130.
All right, let's leave it for a moment.
180/120. 130/100.
Pulse becoming regular.
120/90. Stable.
Pulse regular.
Fine, let's get on with it, shall we?
I suppose it's pointless asking you if you've heard anything of Joan since she left.
Well, I'm probably one of the last people she'd stay in contact with.
I've tried to call her a few times, can't get an answer.
She been reinstated?
Yes. Not that Fry was keen on the idea. Practically turned inside out to avoid blaming himself. Even tried to convince me Selby was lying. She all right?
I've just taken her down to see her visitors. We passed a couple of the women on the way, and if looks could kill.
But she'll have to be guarded round the clock. We've got to get this thing resolved. I want to see Kelly as soon as she's finished lunch. And tell the officers to keep the lid on tight till things settle down.
Well, that won't happen for a while. And what about when Joan gets back?
We'll handle that when we get to it. It's Kelly I'm worried about. If she can find some way of getting at Selby, she will.
Well, sister, let me now explain what I'm doing here. I've been appointed by the Apostolic Delegate to make preliminary investigations into the charges against you.
You mean this is a trial?
Don't be silly, girl.
I'll handle this, Mother. It's my job to determine whether a trial is warranted. If it is, you'll go before an ecclesiastical court with the power of expelling you from the religious life, if it so judges.
What exactly are my crimes supposed to be?
We'll keep this as informal as possible. It's been alleged that you're guilty of a number of things, among them violence against a policeman, illicit affair of a sexual nature with a man, and the sins of vanity and pride.
Was that all you could think of, Mother?
Don't blame me, sister. These proceedings are entirely the result of your own actions.
I want to make sure you understand. You must answer the charges and give cause why you should not be expelled.
It's no use denying it, Kelly. You must have been part of it. That's right, Governor. I was the punch bag. Don't be smart. You're involved in a very serious business. Story of my life, Gov.
Watch your mouth, Kelly.
Oh, why don't you wake up to yourselves? If it had been a setup, do you reckon I would have used my own face as evidence?
Take her out. I'll see Desmond next.
Hang about. If you want to know who's behind all the strife in Wentworth, you take a good look at the goody two-shoes nun. Oh, yeah, you're keeping her well out the way, huh? You need to hide her face behind a bloody veil when I get her.
And that's all I can say, Father. I have a deep commitment to world peace, which I believe to be the path God has chosen for me.
And how many times did you ignore my explicit instructions to stay away from demonstrations?
With respect, I don't believe we can achieve much by remaining cloistered away from the real world.
Are you denying the value of prayer and meditation?
Well, not at all, Father. I'm saying that I believe I was doing something useful and necessary.
We all want peace. Now, do you believe that Christ would agree with using violence to put your point across?
Not for a moment, but in some of these rallies you have hundreds, maybe thousands of people who all believe in what they're doing.
But don't you think peace is better brought about by the elected governments of the countries involved?
If only that would happen, Mother.
But surely that is the only way that anything lasting can be achieved.
Of course it is. But the politicians won't see it until the people show them they're sick of their war games. Should we just close our eyes and let Russia and America blow each other out of existence, taking us and everyone else with them?
No, I don't think we should.
Oh, Mother, why haven't we talked together like this before?
Perhaps because you've never had time to listen to my opinions, sister.
You're right. I'm sorry. I need your help in learning to listen to others. Really listen.
Well, if it's any help, sister, I must admit that I had similar problems when I first joined the order.
Well, at least we seem to have achieved something. Now, sister, I must know just what the religious life means to you and just how much you're prepared to sacrifice to continue in it.
And after your last attempt to get rid of Miss Ferguson, you were warned to leave her alone, so why the hell
You
couldn't
only
think
have the nun as a witness. Leave her. There are half a dozen women who will swear that Ferguson bashed Kelly.
Because you told them to, and now you have implicated the women you're supposed to be looking after.
Selby wasn't even in the laundry when it happened.
Their evidence will be accepted by the department.
All right. It was my idea, but I made the women go along with me.
I was trying to help you. You lied to me. Right. If we can't work together, we'll do it by the book. As far as I'm concerned, I refuse to recognize you as spokesperson for the women. And if there are any more problems involving you, I will have you sent straight to Blackmore. Now get out!
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside, the roses grow. They don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.